Inside the Triangle, the Decker Truckline Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Triangle. I am your host, Darren Ladley, and today we have the, what we're going to call the selfie queen of Decker Truckline. We have Lisa. How you doing, Lisa?
I am good. Hello, everybody in Deckerland.
So we are going to talk. I got railroaded. I just told sit down, shut up, and talk. So we're going to talk about the scorecard because Lisa is almost the queen of the scorecard. Almost.
Too soon.
Too soon? Okay. The wound is still fresh,
Yes.
is it? Okay. All right. So they wanted to talk a little bit about tips to better your scorecard. So let's just start off with number one, fuel compliance.
Fuel compliance it's the easiest one. I mean, it's like fuel where your assignment is, and if for some reason that doesn't work, one, call Janelle, which probably not the first thing to do, or send in a new fuel optimization. It's Macro 21. Oh, well, I don't know what it is on the
you haven't gone.
Geotab.
When are you going Geotab? Are we getting that done today? Or today? Is that happening?
I don't know. I'm just getting lubed today is all I know.
You just getting lubed today? Okay. So it's a Macro 21 on that, and otherwise it's just the fuel
solution, not a Macro 21.
Not a Macro 21, unless you're still on Qualcomm.
And I think I'm the only one.
No, you're not the only one. There's still a few out there, but very few. So, it's fairly easy, even a Macro 21. I mean, how often? I mean, it takes what, 2 minutes?
Oh, not even. I mean, you send it in and just enter how much fuel you have, A, B, C, D, or E, and they send you a new fuel stop.
Okay. Hopefully it's never A.
Right. And when I was out in Montana, it was A.
Montana.
And
when were you in Montana?
last October, I got to take a load out there, and there was nowhere to fuel. I had to buy fuel at a little mom and pop. I paid for it because I'm like, I'm going to run out of fuel.
Hey, that happens. You're not the first one. You won't be the last one that happens to.
Right.
So, all right. So number three. No, we're going to go. I'm looking. See, she gave me this little card, and it's not in order.
It's
Look at
not
that.
really
See?
little at all.
Look at that. When you're as big as I am, everything's little. All right. So number two is idle. So you got to be under 5% to get 100% points. So what's your tips on idle time?
And this is it. The idle is the make or break. 100%. I mean, obviously, if you miss a fuel stop, you're going to lose 10 points. But the idle is, to me, the make or break. You turn your truck off. I turn my truck off every time I stop. And I've talked to Todd, who also,
You guys become like best buds. I mean, between the selfies and everything like that. Today's actually his anniversary.
Well, he's also at the truck rodeo.
Oh, is he? Okay. But today's his 11th year anniversary. Okay, sorry. I was supposed to call him, but I ain't going to bother him if he's at the rodeo. So happy anniversary, Todd.
Happy anniversary, Todd. This will probably be to like 2 weeks later, and good luck. Yeah, so he and I have talked about it, and I mean, that's it. And Dean also has the 1,000-point scorecards, and it's just turn your truck off every time you stop. I literally, but like if I stop to get fuel, I'm going to turn my truck off. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm a rule follower. So I'm like, how do I get like under the fuel compliance and turn your truck off every time you stop? Just turn it off. Turn it off. That's it.
It's not rocket science.
It's not. And Todd and I talked about it, and he said, I'm afraid my starter's going to go out. And I'm like, well, yeah, but
it's cheaper. Buying a starter is a lot cheaper than what the extra cost of fuel is. So, I mean, you can buy a starter for $200-$300. What's it cost us over the course of 4 years in that truck of fuel usage? So
I heard somebody talking the last podcast, I think it was somebody, about how many, like if we went up 1 mile per hour, it would cost like $500,000 a year. And I'm like, I'm good with Lexi going 68 downhill.
Downhill.
Yeah.
Well, and I was actually talking to Malachi this morning, and we got Freightliners coming in, and I was asking him about them. I said, did we finally put windjammers on sunscreens on the front of them? He said, yes. So, did you ever see the Freightliner Columbia without a sunscreen,
No.
oh God, they're ugly. Anyway, but he said these trucks are going to have a battery powered APU in them. It won't be diesel powered. I said, well, how the heck does battery powered work? And he says, well, basically what it is it's going to be a stop start on the truck. So it will keep the batteries and everything charged similar to what the APU does now, but that does some kind of cooling system and heating and cooling. So it just senses it and uses the truck for it. So it'll be starting and stopping the truck a little bit more. So
interesting. Well, maybe I need one of those, because the only problem I've had with Lexi was when my APU went out when it was negative 32 degrees. I thought I was going to die in the Iowa 80 parking lot, like freeze to death.
Well, did you hear Dale Leadham talk about his trip, when he had that?
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah. I've actually, former driver of ours, driver of the year many times back in the old days, but he lost 2 of his fingers for frostbite up in North Dakota. He was out there and something like that. He was actually tarping loads and that, and didn't realize his fingers were frozen, and ended up having frostbite and lost the tip of his 2 fingers right here. Yeah.
Now listen, I love Decker, but I'm not trying to lose a limb or even a finger. Come on now.
And I know Katie, she put something out, the new dashboard. Did you see the new dashboard on these new Pete's?
I did not.
Oh, it's all digital dashboard.
That's fancy.
Yes, it is very
fancy. Like,
and it's got fancy eyeballs on the front of it for headlights. So it's more the halogens.
I don't know if I like the front of it as much. I like the lights, but I don't know if I like that pointy nose on it.
To me, I even said this when we were looking at them. I said that's a T2000 Kenworth style. It almost looks like that on the front end. I mean, it's PACCAR. I mean, they're both the same company. So, but I do know the headlights are going to be much better, because the Volvo headlights outperform the Peterbilt headlights. I mean, hands down, there's no comparison. You've never driven a Volvo, have you?
I have not. I've a rental one time, but I have driven a Kenworth T680, and those headlights were awful.
Yeah.
They were terrible. The headlights on this Pete are great.
All right, good. All right, number 3, now that I got it right order that I'm looking at it, miles.
You just got to run your miles. I mean, if you're I'm in the dry van division, so it's pretty easy to get miles. I mean, we're a little bit struggling right now because Hartwell is a mess.
Scott, you're going to see, have you seen the message come out yet?
I did.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, and it's not just, it's going to happen in the reefer side too, because with this new COVID, it's the world's going upside down again. I already see it happening, and I think everything's going to do a shift left, and I don't know what's going to foresee in this future. I think it's going to, I'm scared. I don't know. I don't think we're going to go back to the full lockdowns that we had before, but when it comes to shippers, receivers, and everything like that, I think it's going to change.
Well, if we're going to lock down, just lock it all down, because it was great to go through Atlanta without hitting the brakes and under Chicago. And now everybody that owns an RV has been on the road this summer. It's been rough with the construction and all the people that were locked up last year. I mean, I get it, but man, come on, get out of the center lane.
Hey, I'm one of them. I got my RV out. In fact,
I bet you know how to drive it though.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Actually, my wife was driving it, so I don't know. I was following on my motorcycle the last trip. So, yeah, miles are, yes, I know. I hear a lot of it's up to your dispatcher, but the driver has some control over it. I've always said, because you determine how you take your breaks. You determine whether you want to push yourself, or if you want, I need a 34-hour restart, and you really don't need a 34-hour restart, those type of things there. So drivers do have some control over it.
Well, I typically like to run 80 back and forth. I will run I-80 all day, every day. And then last month,
oh, sorry.
Right? Well, the month of July, I went back and forth to Hartwell a lot because I was behind the 8 ball trying to get miles. And it's a whole different run. I mean, you can run it in 3 days and like spread your clock out, or you can get down there in 2 days, blow your clock out, but you can make 3 trips, but then you have to take a reset. So it's, as my mom would say, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But I mean, it is all about how a driver drives. I call it the Dave philosophy. That's my work husband. He's like, go hard, just go hard, get your miles. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to try that. And then I'm not going to lie, last month, whatever, running back and forth to Hartwell, I was like burnt because I'd been doing it, like getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm old. Oh,
Jesus. Don't even go there. I got underwear older than you are. I'm just kidding. All right. All right, moving on. All right, number 4 is claims. I mean, that's simple.
I honestly have no idea what that is.
So on the dry van side, you could have it. So let's say it's required load locks. and you don't put load locks in it and the load shifts and all of a sudden the pallet tips over. Okay. Reefer. It was set to be set at a certain temperature and you didn't set it at that temperature. Now, of course, we have safeguards in place now, but those are a prime example is produce, apples. If you have to put load locks in those or you will own some apples because it will tip over.
I like apples.
Yeah. Cherries are a very big one. I mean, they're very temperature. So that's usually what claims are. If it's something that happened with the load that you did not prepare for. Okay. I've had guys that have slammed on the brakes for some reason and a combo bit split open. So those are the type. That's where you lose your points for that.
Well, I'm trying not to slam on the brakes because then that activates the safety camera, and then I have to call Patrice. And most of the loads on the drive-in side are already sealed. I mean, the cat food pretty much stays in place.
Yep. Number 5, service failures.
Oh, last November. Wait, is this the CSA?
No, sir. This is late deliveries and pickups.
Oh, no, I don't have those.
I know that, but we seem to have drivers that do. And a lot of times you're going to pick up loads that are already late. You're going to pick up loads that are out of the shipper late, and we know that. It's when you take a 12-hour break or a 13-hour break instead of a 10-hour break or something along that. That's what usually causes, or a big one, time change. You know, when daylight savings time hits, all of a sudden Indiana doesn't follow it in the winter time, but they do in the summertime. And I think
they don't?
No. Indiana doesn't observe daylight savings time. So when I can't remember how it goes, but when we flip, they don't. And so some part of the year we're the same time as them, part of the year we're not. You didn't know that?
No, and I just got back from Indiana. I just pay attention to my
Gary in that area there still follows
East Central,
right. Even though they're technically not. But the other parts of the state, Indianapolis and those, they will. Fort Wayne, they follow East Coast time.
Time. They're East Coast time. Yeah, I just that makes me itchy when you say that people I can't think about being late. My mom is like chronically early, and so am I. Being late makes me itchy.
One of our former guys here, Joey O'Brien, always said, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, just forget it and don't even show up.
Well, I called Alexa yesterday, and because I picked up a load at 2 and actually got there a little bit early, and they were able to load me. But then I had to deliver in Forest City this morning at 8:30, and I was like doing the math, and math is hard. I said that my first podcast. It is hard. But I'm like, I think I might be late. And I was like, it's itchy. But I actually made it with 3 minutes to spare this morning.
3 minutes. So. Okay. And it's handy. You kind of know where you're going. Well, Winnebago. You went to Winnebago. Have you ever been to Winnebago?
I had no idea where I was going on the pickup or the delivery.
See, I know where that is.
Yeah.
So I go to country concert there every year. So
great spot. I mean, that place is impressive.
What'd you take up there?
Parts.
Okay. Yeah, we used to run veneer wood up to those places because they make the Winnebago RV trailers.
I asked the guy at the shipper. It was a tight little dock. I can't see because I'm kind of blind.
Whoa! And we got you driving a truck.
Well, I can't like you. I got to have the reading glasses, but it was dark, and I'm like, well, but I had to get out a couple of times. Anyway, I was like, well, do I need a seal? And he said, no, this ain't no high dollar load. This is just RV parts. So
yeah.
I put a seal on it, by the way.
Okay, good. And a padlock.
There
you go. See? All right. Number 6, preventable accidents.
Well, just don't have a wreck. And by that, I mean, don't tailgate. I mean, these trucks it's almost impossible to tailgate with these trucks anyway because of the Bendix system. But I mean, people will pull in front of you. When you're driving in a big city, this is the thing that I've noticed the most is you just have to watch out, especially this past summer, for people will cut from the left lane all the way over to the exit. And I mean, you can cuss them all you want, but that's my safety score. That's my preventable accident. So,
and accidents are different in a little bit too, because let's say you back into a curb in a mud flap. Guess what? It's termed accident, but it's also incident. It's the same thing. So it costs the company money to have a repair person, or we'll have guys, and it just happened here last week to a guy, one of my LP guys, and he pulled away, and guess what he forgot to do? Unhook his glad hands from the trailer. and snap, and it cost $1,200 to have TA come out and fix them. So it isn't a cheap fix a lot. Well, you saw my post. I blew a perfectly good tire,
right.
And how much damage. Luckily, it didn't rip the whole back end of the trailer out. But that wasn't deemed, and it wouldn't be a deemed because it was a blowout. But
right.
We've had guys that they'll high pin a trailer,
Yeah.
and take out cross members underneath. Or I've had a few guys take out satellite dishes, because they'll high pin and then they'll forget how far go back they're going, and the satellite, because it sticks back, they'll hit the reefer unit and end up smashing the
reefers. Okay, I was like, because my fifth wheel is in the middle because they slide on these newer trucks, and I've got like all kinds of room.
Yeah, no, reefer. Okay, that's that thing with the motor on the front that goes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And last,
Csa Scores.
All right. Why are you laughing at that?
Well, I'm not laughing. November is historically my month to, like, I've gotten 2 CSA violations in my time driving, and they were both in Missouri and both in the month of November. So I'm a little can I take November off this year? Because last November I ripped off 2 mud flaps in the same mud hole. And then I got a CSA violation for trailer lights, all in the month of November. So I guess if I got to get something, I might as well do it all in 1 month. But I was not, everybody here knows I was not a happy camper.
And the thing is a lot of it is pre-trip, but pre-trips, even, lights go out, things like that happen. You can be driving down the road and the light goes out. How do you know? I mean, we don't have a gauge up there that says, oh, that light went off, and it doesn't work that way. But the DOT officer, times have changed.
Don't get me fired up. I'm still a little angry.
Yeah. We'll see what happens this November. Okay.
Right.
Maybe we'll give you a month off.
Okay. You heard that, right?
I didn't say paid. I said a month off. But, here, for example, I've seen you rant and rave and a lot of drivers on dropping trailers, and they have broken lights, they have mud flaps missing, they have tires that are bad, they have dolly cranks that are broken. I mean, this is it doesn't happen every day, but it happens quite often. And yes, you got out from underneath it, but now you're jamming the next driver. Or the reason you didn't know is because you didn't do a proper pre-trip or post-trip.
Yep.
And that's going to ding us down the road on your CSA points.
Last winter, I'm going to rant for a minute. Last winter, I think it was February when I thought I was going to freeze to death. I went through a series of like 7 or 8 trailers where there was something wrong with every one of them. It was like a tail light, just lights, a lot of light issues. And I'm like, just walk around. But a couple of months ago, somebody dropped a trailer. I saw them at a fuel stop, and there was a problem with the trailer. And I'm like, are you going to get that fixed? They turned around and dropped it in Des Moines for the next driver. And he happens to be one of my good friends. And I mean, there were like 4 or 5 things wrong with the trailer. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? And I don't have respect for people that know that there's a problem. I mean, we're all going to overlook stuff sometimes, but don't leave that for the next person, because that will come back on you.
It will. I mean, I know, and I know one of my, and I don't know if this happens to you, but once in a while, but I did one here just a couple weeks ago. I did a reefer load, and I went and picked up the trailer, and it was dark out. Okay, well, and you're in between and a smut, and so you kind of do a walk around on it, but it's not a proper to see if there's any damage on it. And I'm like, I actually went this weekend and I bought me a headlamp that goes like this, so the LED one. So when I'm doing that, because I was grilling in the middle of the night. And my brother-in-law had one, and I didn't want to burn the brats and everybody pissed off at me because it was dark out. So I put his headlamp on while I was grilling my brats. And I was like, wow, this is what I need in the truck. So when I'm checking things over, I'm just going like this. My hands are free. Safety.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
We need a selfie with you wearing that.
All right.
Yes. Dual headlamps. Yes. A tripod of headlamps. I like it.
But they sell, though. I got them. If you go over to Menards, okay, they had it for like $3.50 for 2 of them.
What?
$3.50.
Man, I'm here all day.
There you go. All right. Any other advice on the scorecard?
Just turn your truck off every time you stop. Follow the fuel compliance, and the miles are kind of a no-brainer. Either you're going to run them or you're not. To me, that's when you're doing what you're supposed to do and not goofing off like I did last month. You're going to get your miles on the drive-in side. And I don't know about the Western Reefer and all those other because I'm not in those divisions. But yeah, and the rest of it is just basic. I mean, don't
do your job.
Do your job.
Yeah. So what about Smart Drive? How you doing on that?
I have a 0. Let me knock on some wood.
No way. Here, some fake wood. All right.
So listen, I had 2 different, I got it down to 0. I had it was like a 13 because I park at this company that I used to landscape for when I go home. It's 5:00 in the morning. I'm leaving. It's a little side road and I didn't come to a complete stop at the stoplight. So or not the stoplight, the stop sign. So I get a 13 score and I'm like, I'm still under 20. I still get the bonus, but I'm like, I want that 0. So I called Patrice and he's like, well, let's watch the video. And I'm like, yep, I didn't stop. So I finally get back down to 0. I got another stop sign violation. I'm like, this is just sloppy. This is just me being sloppy. It's not like I'm doing something like horrific, like bumping into people. I'm like, it's a stop sign, stop. So now I'm like, stop. 1, 2, 3. And the cars behind me are like, dude,
they're honking their horns. Like, get out of the way, you crazy lady.
Like, my safety score. Because Todd has a perfect safety score and I do not. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm competitive a little bit.
Really?
I didn't realize it.
No, I would have never noticed that.
I didn't realize it until you dangled some money in front of me. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's on.
All right. Favorite movie?
The Notebook. It ruined my life.
And how did it ruin your life?
Obviously, you've
I've never seen it. Yeah,
Katie,
I'm sorry.
You seen it?
I've seen it. It's been a long time though.
It ruined. Love just doesn't happen that way. But the house is why I'm moving to Iowa.
Oh.
That house in the movie.
Okay. Oh, a big announcement. So we're moving to Iowa for sure. 100%.
100%. I'm moving to Iowa no matter what.
And which part of there we're going to live in? Because we can talk about this. Because we talked about this a while ago.
I've last year I made up my mind that I'm moving to Iowa. I don't know what this is going to look like or how it's going to go. And then it's either Des Moines area, maybe Fort Dodge. Probably not. It's too windy over here.
Oh, Jesus. God.
I love Ankeny. I love that area.
Why isn't it not as windy in Ankeny as it is in Fort Dodge?
And there's more to do in Des Moines. And
what happened to Dubuque? You're going to get this little place and have a lake and then overlooking some of the hills.
Well, that's what I still want. But
you ain't going to get that down there.
Well, it's so far east. And, at the time I called Scott, my load planner, and I was like, I'm moving to Iowa. What running lanes would be through Dubuque? So Dubuque isn't really a viable.
Davenport would be better. Or something.
Well, not even.
The 80 corridor, yeah.
Yeah. But Des Moines, I've spent some time in Des Moines lately and I like the city. There's a lot to do. I just didn't like Des Moines because I hate the interstate system there. And I'm like, that is not a fair assessment of a city, but Ankeny is super cute.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. And that's where certain people.
I live in Ames.
She lives in Ames.
Yeah, I know that. But aren't you from the Des Moines area? No?
I'm from Fort Dodge.
Oh, you are? Oh, Jesus.
Come on, Darren.
All right.
We could just make like a compound.
Yeah.
Just buy some land with a pond. Katie McFarland told me that I could have some people dig a pond for me, and then I started doing some research on that, and it get very complicated with like slime and water conservation. And I'm like, I would just like to have an established pond.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, because you're dealing with a lot of issues and labor rates right now and everything like that, and EPA and everything.
Well,
you don't.
Katie was like, you can just like get a bunch of good old boys and they'll bring their backhoes over, and I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
All right, so favorite movie is Notebook. I never seen it, never will. Sorry.
It's okay.
Favorite movie or not? Favorite TV show still Grey's Anatomy.
I'm on my 10th time through. It's a sickness. I need some help. This is my cry for help. But yeah, I'm on the 10th time through.
Does it change at all each time?
You know what? Those are my family. Mind your business.
All right. Favorite music?
Country.
Okay. So I think, is River Ruckus or did that already happen? That should be coming.
Was that in Forest City?
No, that's the one I went to. Forest City, just not very far. Winnebago actually sponsored it. They have a country music jam every.
Oh my God, what's the name of that band that I'm drawing?
Old Dominion.
I love
They were there.
them. I know,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I
they
already
were
had
awesome.
plans. I actually have Chris Stapleton tickets on my birthday at the Iowa State Fair.
Not a Chris Stapleton fan.
I love Ferris wheels and I love Chris Stapleton. I can't wait, and it's on my birthday. I thought that was very kind of him.
Yeah, and the one reason my wife was in love with the one up there was Kane Brown. Oh yeah, my wife has got.
He's
the same
growing
for
on
Kane
me.
Brown. Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was drunk.
I think you told me.
Yeah,
that.
I did.
So,
I said it in the podcast.
Yeah.
He was drunk. Yeah. Toby Keith was drunk. Yeah, but that was a couple of years before that. I saw Aaron and Toby on a golf course, and he was hammering him.
It's
good,
Forest City, Iowa. Of course they're drunk. Come on.
So, all right, favorite book. This is Katie's Avenue.
Oh God. I like the Untethered Soul, the Cider House Rules. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Katie, your favorite book?
My favorite book ever.
Yeah.
Pet Cemetery.
I knew she was going to say Stephen King. She said that the last time.
Well, she didn't give a book though. She just said
I
Stephen.
love Pet Cemetery. It's so good.
I actually have a stack of books this high right now that my mom had. She was going to sell at the garage sale that I'm going to get through. It may take me 7 or 8 years, but I'm going to get through them.
Get through doing what with them?
Reading them.
Okay.
What do you think I meant? Beating somebody with them? My kids? What?
That wouldn't surprise me.
Katie, do you like M. Night Shyamalan? His movies?
Who?
Some of them.
We just went and saw Old this
Was it
past.
good?
It was M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
I mean, he did like Unbreakable, Split, Glass. They're like psychological thrillers.
And he did like The Sixth Sense.
Yes.
And
Never saw it.
What? Where have you been?
I'm sorry. I watch Aquaman and Marvel and
Well,
DC
now you know I love
and-
me a good superhero.
All right. I mean, my wife's got a thing for what's his name? Who's the long-haired one from
Thor?
Iowa? No,
No.
Aquaman. He's from Iowa. Jason Momoa.
He's from Iowa.
Yeah,
I mean,
he originally lived here before he went to Hawaii.
I
Yeah.
could be straight for him. I could be the single straight girl feeding the cats across America.
Him and Ashton Kutcher, he's from here too. Oh boy, what a face that one got. Okay, all right. My wife had Thor. She liked Thor, and then when he cut his hair, she really liked Thor.
Really?
Yes.
who plays Thor?
Thor is Chris.
Not Chris Pratt. That's
No, Chris
Captain
Pratt is
America.
Chris Helms.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Helmsley.
You don't like superheroes?
I don't know a thing about him.
Oh.
Katie.
Sorry.
Mm.
I don't know a thing about him.
There's a new Suicide Squad's bringing out another one. I kind of like the Suicide Squad. I like that crazy chick. The Bird of Prey. They made the Bird of Prey movie.
Harley Quinn.
Haley Quinn. Yes. Oh yeah. I like that crazy chick. Okay. She's nuts. All right. Final words. I need final words of wisdom and a trivia question for today.
A trivia question for
Yes.
today? Well, I can make this one really easy, and your phone would be blowing up quickly. Okay, it's a two-part.
Oh.
The trivia question.
Okay.
It's super easy. What is my truck number, and what is my truck's name?
Okay.
All right. Words of wisdom. Turn your truck off when you stop if you're trying to get your 1,000-point scorecard.
Well, here, let's do it this way. So I think in our TCA call here, was it last week or the week before? I think it was a TCA call, or maybe it was the driver council. They asked, what is something that a memorable quote? Okay. My memorable quote was kind of, every time you wake up and your eyes open up in the morning, that's a great day. Because when your eyes don't open up, it's not
It's
anymore.
game over.
Game over.
Game
Exactly.
over.
So what would
Favorite
you?
quote? It's simple, like the best is yet to come.
There you go.
Who said that? It's
That was
actually
Robin
goes,
Williams in No, I'm just kidding.
It actually goes grow old along with me. The best is yet to be. But then I can't remember who said it. It was Whitman or Walden, I think.
It says Frank Sinatra.
No.
Hey, Frank's cool.
Start spreading the news.
The best is yet to be.
New York, New York.
Robert Browning.
Yes, that's the one.
Grow old along
along
with
with
me.
me.
The best is yet to be.
That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah, she said.
But I don't need anybody to grow old along with me. I just believe that the best is yet to be. Like the best days of my life they lie ahead. And that just keeps me like going and moving and achieving.
I agree. I mean, I'm 55 years old and I still got a long time to go. So, yeah, bigger and better things are yet to come.
Yep.
I'm one of the few guys that are really looking forward to the next, after 9 years. I'm looking forward to the retirement time. I really am.
Yeah. When's that happening?
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right then. I'm 50. I'll be 54 while Chris Stapleton sings to me. So, so then I'll be 10 years behind you, maybe.
So I love that. Actually, there is one Chris Stapleton, that new one he's got about this dog.
Maggie.
Oh my God, that song is
Maggie.
terrible.
I never realized I'd heard it. Yeah, and then somebody I was on XM Highway, and he said this song will make you cry when you listen to lyrics. I'm like, why? And then I listened to him. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
It does. Depresses me every time now.
Dave and I will not listen to that song. It's like when that song's coming on, I'm going to the bathroom because it's my birthday. I'm not trying to cry. Nah.
All right, everyone, keep the shiny side up. We're out. As always, thank you for listening to Inside the Triangle. Don't forget to subscribe to us on whatever platform you're listening on. That way you will know when the new episodes drop. And remember, submit your questions to podcast@deckermail.com and you could be featured on one of our upcoming episodes. The best way to do this is to create a voice memo on your smartphone, record your question, and email it to podcast@deckermail.com. Once again, thank you for listening. Stay driven to be the best.